So this is a video just running through this bike of mine, which I've cobbled together over the years to suit the very hilly utility riding and the occasional joyride which I go on in Devon. It's built to be low maintenance and be comfortable and to be as multi-purpose as possible. So we'll just go through the various bits and why they're chosen. So we'll start with the frame. So the frame is an old Voodoo frame which I bought on eBay. The main reason I got that is because it's got adjustable sliding rear dropouts for the hub gear. That was the only really reason that I went for that particular frame. It's also steel, which I prefer for some reason. The forks are from Thorn cycles, and they've got this very, very long steerer tube on, which I bought specifically because it gives you a very upright ride. I don't want to spend all the time I'm on the bike bent over double, and around my wheel if we have like hedges everywhere, so it's nice to be able to sit upright and look over the top of the hedges at the view and things. Plus you get better visibility, and if you do want to go fast you can always just crouch down a bit, and I'd rather have it a higher handlebar and then have to crouch. So it's very hilly around here, so two things I needed were gears, lots of, or high range more accurately, and good brakes. And quite often the bike is slathered in mud, so rim brakes aren't really an option, although they'd probably be the most powerful, some hydraulic rim brakes. But on here we've got disc brake on the rear, just a budget Shimano hydraulic one, and a hub brake and dynamo hub on the front, which is Sturmey Archer 90mm XL FDD, I think the model number is. So the front, that's probably the single best bit of equipment on the whole bike, that front hub. I mean, it needs servicing once every 2 years. The dyno hub runs like a nuclear light on the front, which is really amazing. And it's really, if I were to rebuild another bike, that would be the first bit I would buy it. It's really good. Moving to the rear, we've got an Alfine 11-speed hub on there. Got 38 tooth chainring, 22 tooth sprocket. A little bit of trouble trying to get the chain length right on there, which I'm still figuring out. I've just ordered a half link chain because at the moment taking a whole link out shortens the chain too much. And anyway, that's a bit of a technical detail which no doubt will get worked out. The rest of the components are pretty much just off a mountain bike, to be honest. Handlebars, all that sort of business. Got a Brook saddle. If you're going to make your bike more upright, then you want to get a wider saddle, because most saddles aren't made to be sat on properly. They're just meant to kind of, rest on in between pedaling, really. And if you're really sitting on the saddle, then you need something pretty decent. Got a pannier rack on the back for carrying stuff around. That's on a budget cheapo rack, although it's been quite good. I've also got a front rack that doesn't get used much now, but if you're using, I did use a child seat about a couple of years ago. My boy's grown out of that now, but if he was in the child seat on the back, then I put the panniers on the front. So yeah, I have a look a bit closer now. So on here we've got some Schwalbe pickup tyres. They're quite good, very tough, and they've got punch protection in them, which is important for thorns. In the autumn they trim all the hedges around here. They're hawthorn and they go all over the road, and you evidently get punctures even with a tyre like this. But with non-puncture proofed ones, you would have to probably change your fix your tyres every time you go out riding. So we've got a mixture of brake levers. We've got an old Tektro one here for the front brake, which is a cable pull which goes down to the little arm there on the side of the drum brake. This light is quite a recent addition, really amazing. Bush & Miller IQX. I've done a video on that one. It's 2.4 watts, and how they managed to get the amount of light out of it I do for 2.5 watts, I don't know. Being German, they probably just fake the results. But there you go. Cheapo hydraulic disc brake on the back. Bell. Front rack. Get some questions about these. 65mm wide mud guards. The SKS Blumels, I think. Yeah, Blumels they're called, or something like that. Cheapo rear rack with a springy thing. It's quite good. You can put your map in there if you're out exploring. This frame didn't come with rack mount bolts, so I've just got some P-clips on here, which have done the job well for a number of years. There's the Alfine hub gear at the back. You'll see a few videos popping up on my channel about that. I nearly swapped it out a few months back because I had an oil leak and I couldn't really figure out what it was, but I've readjusted everything and the oil stayed in there since, so that's still on there. But it's a lovely hub in use, very quiet, good range it gives you. I'd probably go up a sprocket size again to 23 tooth, I think, which is the biggest they do, because the hills are pretty steep around here and it's good just to have a nice low gear to get up those. Rims, I've gone for kind of wide rims to match the wide tyres. So and this Brook saddle, I've had a couple of these. I did have one, a very elaborate one with like a front coiled spring here. Found it quite creaky. And I've also noticed that the ones made with black leather, although more supple, are more prone to sagging. So I didn't know that's to do with the effect that the dye has on the leather. But these brown saddles are, although they're slightly less comfortable, but they seem to sag less. And if you don't look after these, which evidently happens if you're out riding in the wet, then they do sag. You can adjust them afterwards, but that's all good. So the forks have a very long head tube on, and one thing I have noticed is that can put a lot of pressure, a lot of leverage on the headset here at the top. So it's important to have quite a good quality, well adjusted headset. This is a Orbit. What makes Orbit? No, FSA, isn't it? Yeah, FSA Orbit headset, fairly standard medium quality headset. But yeah, it's important to have that adjusted. I got originally when I built this, I had a cheapo sort of 10 quid headset on there, and because of the leverage and the slight play in the headset, the head tube was hitting the inside of the cup. So when you put the brakes on or whatever, there's a slight bit of movement. I didn't realise, so I took it apart to have a look, and I noticed there was a slight rub mark, a very shallow sort of indentation around the head tube at this point. So being the head tube is probably the only thing between you and a broken neck most of the time. I slid down, got a piece of tube which fits really nicely inside, and I've slid it down inside the head tube with a whole bunch of epoxy. So from there to there, it's kind of double thickness, the head tube, just to get that a bit stronger. But you don't. I only did that because I damaged it by not using a decent headset, not because the head tube's not strong enough. I mean, it's like a piece of high quality steel, so there's no way it would snap if it's not damaged. So I think that's everything. Wiring is fairly self-explanatory. The rear light has been really good. I've had this for probably 10 years now. It's another German one, Bush and Muller, and you can get these now, which are quite clever, and they, when you slow down, because the frequency of the dynamo is changes, as in the electricity it supplies, the rear light senses that, and it will actually increase brightness like a brake light, which I think is pretty clever and perhaps a bit useful. But this one here's been very good, and nice and bright, kind of lights up the road behind you a bit when you're going along, it's that bright. Yeah, quite recommended. Panniers, these are quite good, come off easily, made in England by a lady called Sue, and they're really good. Paradise Super C. So that's about it really. So that's my upright bike for hilly riding. You couldn't really ride a normal Dutch bike around here because there weren't enough gears, and the brakes probably wouldn't be good enough. But this is my my Devonized Dutch bike, or Dutchified Devon bike. Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting. Comfy bike. Go make one. Bye.